class. I hope you're well. Now, in your third home learning pack, you'll notice that you haven't got one of the bingo sheets, which you've had in the first two packs with lots of different tasks to do. And that's because I would like you to do a very special, different project instead this time. Okay, so I've been clearing out some of the things in my house, or kind of moving things around and sorting, and I came across two very special projects. Okay, so these two projects were made. This one was made by myself when I was in year 6, so a long time ago, and this one was made by my big sister when she was in year 6, so this one's a little bit older than this one even. And I thought I would share these with you because I wanted to give you some ideas for the kinds of things that you could do at home. So you might be aware that on the 8th of May in 1945, this country celebrated its first VE Day, which stands for Victory in Europe Day. Okay, so this was kind of becoming the end of the war. It wasn't exactly the final end of the war because the fighting continued in Asia and particularly in Japan for a little bit longer, a few more months. But in Europe, the fighting was over and we had won the war and the Nazis had surrendered. So this year is an important anniversary for VE Day, and there's a special bank holiday which you will have had on Friday, the 8th of May. And I would like you to create a project to mark the anniversary of VE Day. Okay? So these are two projects that my sister and I created when we were in year 6 and we studied World War II. So they're not specifically about VE Day, but they are on the theme of World War II. And we could choose whatever we liked that interested us about the war, and that was what we would create our project on. Now, as you know, I'm a big fan of food. So I decided to concentrate my project on food during World War II, which obviously had to change quite a lot because of rationing, and it was difficult to get hold of lots of different types of food. So I decided for my project that I would create a giant Spam tin. I don't know if you've ever had Spam, you can still buy it. It's an acquired taste, I think is the safest way to put it, but it was much more popular during the war. So that was the way that I decided to present my projects. I want you to think carefully about how you might present a project about VE Day. Okay? Is there something you could make, a model you could make, a special way that you could bring the project together? Okay? And on the back I've got some information about Spam. Then, this isn't just a big Spam tin, inside I've got all my information. Okay, so I've got some nice wrapping paper there, which has pictures of food on. And then we've got kind of like a scrapbook. So I've got contents, which is important, so people know what they're looking at. And then I've got rationing, and I've got a mixture of pictures and typing and handwritten, bits about Potato Pete, Dig for Victory, lots of different bits, some photos from a museum I went to. You'll struggle a bit with that bit. Okay, lots of different ideas, including a recipe booklet, and then right at the end I've got a bibliography, which is important because it tells your reader where you found all the information. So if you used a website, then you have to put that website in your bibliography. Okay, so you might want to think about including a bibliography in your work. Okay, so that's my project, and then my sister's is beautiful, and she was 10, 11 at the time, okay, but she's always been very artistic. And she decided to do her project on the home front during World War II, so that's why we've got a nice house here. And then the door opens and you can see the title, which is really nice. And this must be about 18 years old, this project, so this has survived very well. And then inside, I'm going to lay it down, it's a bit fragile. Again, she's made this book actually. There's a scrapbook with lots of information about life on the home front, clothing, food, all kinds of things. And then there's one special page that I want to, there it is. This is an interview with my grandma, and grandma is still alive, and she remembers parts of the Second World War. She was a very small child then, but she can remember some of it. And actually, in here is something called a cassette tape, which you may not have seen. This came before CDs. I suppose you use CDs still, who knows? Which was before streaming and downloading and everything that we do today with music. You could record sound, music or speaking onto a cassette tape and put it into a cassette player. Okay, so that's almost a piece of history itself. But this is fascinating because this is an interview that my sister did with my grandma, asking her questions about what she remembered. And you're a bit younger than me, but you might have a great grandparent or a great uncle or auntie, someone that you could perhaps give them a phone call and see if they remember anything about VE Day or about the war in general. Because the most interesting kind of history, I think, is when you can hear it from somebody firsthand who actually experienced it. Okay, so ask your parents, see if there's anybody. It could be a neighbour, they might not be related to you. It could be somebody in your village who you know was around at that time, and you could give them a call and you could ask them some questions. That would be really, really interesting. Okay. So, lots of different ideas. It's up to you how you want to present your project. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. You're all really creative, and I know that having time to do it at your own pace at home means that you'll be able to make something really, really beautiful and you won't be rushed like we sometimes are in school. Okay, so think about what you want to focus on about VE Day. Okay, think about what's important for you to find out about and what you'd like to know more about, and then think about how you're going to present it. Okay, I really look forward to seeing what you come up with. Good luck!